Welcome to the Linux Gaming News Punch, episode 8. It's here a little later than originally expected. Sorry about that. I've had a cold and it's been properly kicking my butt. Anyway, I'm here now to go over some quick topics of interest to help you keep up with all the latest Linux gaming news. First up, we're going to go over a couple of twin-stick shooters, which is actually one of my favourite genres. The first of which is called Dead-End Job. If you like the style of 90s cartoons and twin-stick shooters, it's basically merging them together. And your task is to basically take down ghosts in a style inspired by tunes like Ren and Stimpy. So you blast them away with a plasma gun and then suck them up with a hoover. So you're basically a Ghostbuster. It looks fun and it should be out before the end of June. So that's Dead End Job. Keep an eye out on that one. The next shooter that I want to talk about very quickly is Smith and Winston. A personal favourite of mine actually, because you can pick it up right now in early access, and it's for those who love a good bit of destruction, because it's got that and then some. The entire world is made up of beautiful tiny little voxels, and so you can blow everything up. It's just absolutely mad, and they recently added in local co-op, and they made the destruction even better. What's not to love about that? Smith and Winston can actually be found on both itch.io and Steam, so do check it out. Highly recommend that one. And yet another twin-stick shooter is Enter the Gungeon. This one is absolutely ridiculous. It doesn't have the kind of destruction that Smith and Winston does, but what it does make up for is how just utterly ridiculous it is, especially with the wild and varied enemy design. Some of them are literally just walking bullets with shotguns trying to kill you. It's absolutely crazy. It's not just the enemies that are ridiculous in Enter the Gungeon though, it's all the weapons that you can get. A weapon that I collected recently literally fired out the word bullet at my enemies. I thought that was quite funny. And the reason that I'm mentioning Enter the Gungeon is the developers have given it a final update, adding in new playable characters, new enemies, new weapons, and so on. They're saying it's finally complete. Breaking with the shooter theme now with Empires of the Undergrowth. This is a game for those who love bugs and ants, as it's a colony building sim based mostly on actual facts. Personally, I think this one is a brilliant game. It's so good that I remember feeling like my skin was literally crawling when I played it. It was so good. Anyway, it's getting a big update to add in leafcutter ants, and it's good timing too with the Netflix series Our Planet. It's also adding in a all-new rainforest environment with new critters, 2 new levels, and those levels will see you face off against fully fledged colonies. So that sounds quite interesting. For those who like your action RPGs, you're going to want to take a look at Last Epoch. It was originally funded thanks to around 3,000 people on Kickstarter. I've tested a few builds of it myself, as the developer did send me an early build of it, and it's shaping up to be really quite interesting. For anybody who does like games like Diablo, there is basically nothing like that on Linux, really. This actually feels like it's going to come kind of close, which is why I'm quite excited about Last Epoch. And they've announced that there is a beta release that is coming out on April 30th, which will also be available on Steam. It's going to be quite a big update, adding in different mastery classes like paladins and druids, new skills, and, just loads and loads of additional content. The reason that it really does interest me though is not just that it feels a bit like Diablo, it's the fact that we're getting a really good looking action RPG available on Linux with loads of different skills, loads of customization, and it just looks great. The last build I tested did have an issue with NVIDIA GPUs though. They're aware of it, they said they can reproduce it, so hopefully, fingers crossed, that's going to be fixed for the beta release, because I think a lot of people are going to enjoy Last Epoch. Lastly, Surviving Mars is to get a second expansion with Green Planet. This is going to introduce terraforming, and it's going to release a bit later this year. So no longer will you be building on a barren wasteland of a planet, as you will be able to make Mars go green. However, terraforming a planet might have some unexpected outcomes and consequences, so you might end up doing something a bit silly and ending up with acid rain, which will reduce your soil quality, or if an asteroid slams into the planet, it will cause a Marsquake that can disrupt your colony's production, and all sorts of weird things like that. There will no doubt be a big patch that will come out alongside Green Planet, much like Paradox do with all of the games that they publish. When they do big updates like this in DLC, they generally have a free feature patch patch as well, so that'll be pretty sweet. However, it's worth noting they're not actually giving us a release date on that just yet. Thank you for joining me once again for some quick Linux gaming news. I will be here again next week to cover some more fun topics. As always, do visit us on GamingOnLinux.com for the latest and greatest Linux gaming news. Thank you and goodbye.